Good morning. Can't go very far nowadays without hearing something about AI, data centers, um, quantum computing. Part of what's going on with data centers is they're starting to hit a wall in some areas. Part of that is real estate, part of that is power usage. As you probably know, some of our grids are a little behind the times and they are struggling to figure out ways to make up for the current demand that that data centers are going to take up. Um, So what's happening is there are several companies trying to put essentially data centers in space. And I just wanted to give you some background information and give you some information so perhaps you could add this to your portfolio or look at some upcoming tech to supplement your interest. Regardless, I am not a stockbroker. You can lose your money in the stock market, but I do believe that if you take your time and do your research, the market can be a wonderful thing. Regardless, let's get into this topic about GPUs in space.
Data centers are facing a major crisis driven by the explosive growth of AI. Power demand is skyrocketing from around 49 gigawatts today to nearly 96 gigawatts by 2026, with AI operations expected to consume a huge portion of that total. Yet the grid simply can't keep pace. Only about 60 gigawatts of new power capacity is projected to come online in the near term. Data centers already account for a significant share of electricity use, often 40% or more in high demand scenarios, and this is straining resources worldwide. Cooling is another massive challenge. It can consume 30 to 50% of a data center's total operating costs and power because these dense GPU clusters generate enormous heat that must be managed constantly. Prime real estate is running out too. Dense urban and industrial areas are maxed out, limiting where new facilities can be built. Supply chains remain a bottleneck. NVIDIA's high end chips, like the H100, still face lead times of several months to over a year in some cases, meaning companies are essentially waiting in long lines for the hardware needed to power the future of AI. With StarCloud launching the first orbital GPUs in November 2025, the era of space based expansion is already underway, offering a potential path forward beyond Earth's limitations. Imagine a future where massive data centers packed with powerful NVIDIA GPUs and advanced chips orbit Earth in space. This setup could revolutionize computing by escaping earthly constraints like gravity and heat dissipation. But what about the enormous power usage? Enter space based solar power as a game changing asset. Unlike ground based solar panels limited by weather and nighttime, solar arrays in space capture sunlight 24/7, delivering up to 40 times more energy per panel with zero greenhouse gas emissions. This constant clean energy beam could wirelessly power these orbital data centers, making them efficient, sustainable, and ready to handle AI's growing demands without straining Earth's grids.
Obviously, AI is pushing innovation. These are no longer theoretical ideas. People are definitely trying to put GPUs in space. I don't think that data centers are ever going to disappear, but there is going to be a hybrid model where there are some in space and there's some on the Earth. The ones in space, obviously, we're going to burn off heat. We're going to have exposure to solar energy. There are concerns, of course, of launch costs and maintenance costs. Some people will be affected by latency. There are always reliability, security, and scale problems, but over time, those two will be adjusted. So, what does this mean for your portfolio? Let's discuss it.
The AI boom is reshaping the tech landscape, and investors are pouring money into companies poised to benefit from the explosive demand for compute power, both on Earth and increasingly in space. At the forefront are the GPU suppliers. NVIDIA remains the undisputed leader, dominating the AI GPU market with roughly 90% share. Its chips power the vast majority of training and inference workloads. What adds extra appeal is NVIDIA's backing of space compute initiatives, like commitments to Blackwell chips for orbital deployments, creating double optionality as AI expands beyond traditional data centers. AMD is emerging as a formidable challenger, capitalizing on NVIDIA's supply constraints and overflow demand. AMD is winning big in data center contracts, especially for inference heavy workloads, positioning it as a high growth alternative in the AI chip race. Beyond pure GPUS, infrastructure winners offer compelling risk/reward. Supermicro (SMCI) builds custom servers tailored for hyperscalers and even space applications. Broadcom (AVGO) supplies critical networking chips found in virtually every major data center. It's trading near $320 to $330 with bullish consensus targets around $430 to $450. Vertiv (VRT) excels in power and cooling solutions essential for dense AI clusters, showing explosive plus 40% year-over-year growth in its AI segment and surging targets well into the $250 to $280 range, some even higher. Lam Research, LRCX, and KLAC provide vital chip manufacturing equipment, quietly benefiting from the broader semiconductor expansion. In memory and storage, key for both terrestrial data centers and satellite-based systems, Micron MU stands out. It benefits from dual tailwinds, massive data center buildouts, and the memory needs of space infrastructure. SanDisk (SNDK), however, appears more fully priced at all-time highs around $600 plus, with flatter targets suggesting limited near-term upside. Space infrastructure names like Rocket Lab (RKLB) as a launch provider, Intuitive Machines (LUNR) for lunar and orbital tech, Planet Labs (PL) for satellite operations, and StarCloud, private for now, potential future IPO, represent high-risk, high-reward bets on the orbital compute frontier.
GPUs in space are coming. Companies like Rocket Lab and the soon-to-be SpaceX IPO are going to benefit from its existence. But those companies also benefit from lift in defense contracts, lifts in communication satellites, lifts in picks and shovel companies like ASTS. The industry of space, the sector of space, is very interesting, and I think it can add a lot to your portfolio. Always do your research and check everything out. Remember, this is not investing advice. I do say an investment, however, in yourself is always worth the time. So, good trading, good luck, and good day. Thank you.